mainly I was influenced to come into films because of Amitabh Bachchan's guns and Zeenat Aman's thighs, I said. The biggest attraction to me in heroines was Sridevi's thighs.
Sir, your obsession with actresses is what people have spoken over the years. Your obsession with Urmila Matondkar, your obsession with Antra Mali as well. Where does this stem from? Are you actually obsessed with them?
See, my obsession...
Then licking someone's foot like Ashu Reddy in a video. What was your intention?
See, the point is...
God, Sex and Truth, you worked opposite with a porn star.
Yeah.
Mia Malkova.
My own father told me it won't work after he saw the film because he...
When did you realize that Shiva actually became this huge cult film?
He's quite drugged most of the time. With that guy and a knife in his hand. Because he's into that method acting, I don't know if he'll stab me.
Really inspired from an actual gangster?
Quite a few people in the producers and all that who were remotely connected to the underworld. Sit and drink with them and things like that. So there is one man I met very, very close to Dawood Ibrahim. So he told me the reason for the rift between Dawood and Chota Rajan. Directors trying different kind of characters, I believe will not work with Shah Rukh. This with Kamal. From there itself I messaged Mohanlal.
So while you're talking... So you're talking to Kamal and you're messaging Mohanlal?
Yeah.
Sir, kya yaar?
But that's okay.
Rangeela, you said it was not as perfect a film as Satya. Why do you think Daud didn't work?
Telling Manoj, you are the main reason for getting, for Daud not working. Waiter is a better actor than Aamir, Ram Gopal Varma.
Jaggu Dada knew that his role was like a cameo.
Jackie is a guy who really used to take film seriously. Most of the time he doesn't even listen to the script.
Did you become so overconfident when you went to Satya 2? The original Satya fans were upset, no?
Of course, yeah.
Ram Gopal Varma ki aag.
In Aag, definitely lost my head. And then I have this one film which I'm going to start maybe in the next, after I finish this film. That I believe will be my biggest film.
Nishabd, 2007.
Yeah.
Everyone said you gave Mr. Bachchan, Amitabh Bachchan, a taboo role.
His makeup man, his name is Deepak. He told him, sir, this film is a big mistake you are making. People won't accept you in this kind of... And he said that put that vodka aside, Anurag Kashyap also must be having a vodka. Hi, I'm Ram Gopal Varma and I wouldn't say I spoke of my entire life and he got me to speak. That would be the right way to put it. And also I think knowing Siddharth, half the time I don't know if he's laughing at what you're saying because he conveniently developed that kind of a personality in the way he speaks and all that. But I think he's got a fantastic ability to get the dirty secrets out. Subscribe now.
Ramu sir, finally, huh?
Yes, sir.
You're now based in Hyderabad, है ना?
हाँ.
तो बॉम्बे से इतने आप चढ़ गए.
Actually, I'm coming back now. Again,
वापस आए.
yeah. I just went there after COVID, the third wave or something, and then, yeah, now I'm coming back, yeah.
पर आप वापस आ रहे हैं क्योंकि बॉम्बे को मिस कर रहे हैं, मुंबई को मिस कर रहे हैं?
No, because I started Hindi films again and all whatever. I've done some South films in between, so I'm, yeah, that's the reason I'm shifting back.
Great, happy to have you back.
Yeah.
एक सीडी रेंट शॉप आपका था ना? तो आपका खुद का दुकान था?
That is 86, 87, yeah.
और ये कहाँ पे था सर?
In a place called Amirpet in Hyderabad.
तो आप लिटरली VHS रेंट पे देते थे?
Yeah, I was sitting behind the counter. Yeah.
Were you a good salesman?
Yes. And one good thing what happened is because a lot of film industry people used to come to the library. So I got my contacts through that.
तो वहाँ से शिवा,
Yeah.
मेरे लिए एक आइकॉनिक फिल्म जो अभी रिलीज होने वाली है, री-रिलीज होने वाली है. Tell me about that journey from that CD shop to Shiva.
My fascination for cinema started roughly in my final year engineering, in civil engineering, kind of. I was a film buff right from the beginning, no doubt, but consciously wanting to become a director started sometime in the final year engineering, you know. So by the time I came out, and I tried my best, I got a job as a site engineer in the construction of Taj Krishna Hotel in Hyderabad, you know. I used to be paid 800 rupees salary, you know. And from there, I kept trying to meet people and X and Y. And then at a point of time, I gave up and I was supposed to go to Nigeria for a job. And then when I was trying to get a document like international driving license, which is one of the requisites for that, my friend was taking me there to a RTO office. So en route, he stopped at a video library, you know. Those days, they were just coming up. So when I saw that, I thought, really, I know so much about cinema. Why not start a video library? And overnight, I cancelled the plan of going to Nigeria. And then I didn't have a rupee. I just took 5,000, 2,000, 3,000 from 7, 8 people. And with a capital of 20,000, I started the library. And I was making a lot of money in that.
How much were you making a month?
See, my salary was 800 rupees per month, and I started making some 25, 30,000 a month. Then again, I started a second round of trying to go to meet people. Now, because I was financially settled, I could afford that time and having no insecurity that the first time I was trying, I was depending upon my job for my earnings. But because of this huge surge in the money, I had that confidence, you know, to again. And this time, I managed to meet Nagarjuna at a certain time. And when I narrated the thing, he was immediately very impressed, you know. And that was the first time, at least in South, where a guy has no experience and was given a film. Yeah.
Was he impressed by your storytelling abilities? Or was he just impressed by the fact that you had fire in your belly? What was the reason he told you?
No, I think it's a common. I don't think he never got so much into the story. It was more like my ability to narrate a scene and my ability to analyze it in terms of why that works, or even talking about scenes in the past films and whatever. So he felt that I was highly knowledgeable about cinema. In fact, once I remember him telling his brother that I don't know if Ramu knows about films, but he knows better than all of us. That's what he said, yeah.
And you being the first time director.
Yeah.
In fact, in Shiva, कॉलेज के बाहर कुछ लोग खड़े रहते, एक लड़के के लिए वेट करते ताकि उसको पीटे. वो बहुत बार होता है कॉलेजेस में. हम लोगों ने खुद देखा हुआ है. मैं लखनऊ में था.
Even I saw.
We've all seen that. Literally, everybody waiting. वो आएगा उसको मारो. ये रियलिस्टिक अप्रोच एट अ टाइम जब रियलिस्टिक सिनेमा नहीं बन रहा था, कहाँ से आया आपके पास?
Definitely from my own experiences, like what you said, you also saw. मैंने भी इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज पढ़ता था. I saw such things quite a few times actually, because a lot of gangs used to be there, you know, in colleges, groups and things like that, and sometimes they will get mixed up with the rowdies outside, you know. Yeah.
In fact, हिलता हुआ कैमरा, पत्ते की आवाज, all natural sounds, cameras being shaken up, moving. They were ahead of its times. In those days, people never used to do that.
See, that came because there is a Steadicam camera. Basically, I used to read this magazine called American Cinematographer, which used to be subscribed in Annapurna Studios. No one used to read that except me. And that used to have a lot of detail of how some films were shot in camera movement, lighting techniques. And in that, I first read about the Steadicam, which was first used in Stanley Kubrick's Shining. And then, so a cameraman called Garrett Brown, you know, when he was jogging, he suddenly realized when I'm running, how come the visual doesn't shake? But when I'm putting the camera and I'm going, the camera will be doing a jerky movement on the screen. So you realize not so much about the body jerk, is because you're trying to adjust the viewfinder. Yeah, that is what is resulting as a jerk. So he made this grip where he avoided the viewfinder and put a monitor. That's how the steady cam came in. So, and I was reading about that. I was telling some friend of mine, they have this camera called steady cam. So he said, we have it here also. So what do you mean have it here? He said, Hyderabad, he said. And and it was there for 4 years and nobody used it. Because anything new, people don't want to try. You know. So my cameraman said, it can't center, it won't balance, and it will kind of whatever. See, in a chase sequence, why do you need absolute perfect centering or perfect some kind of a movement happens and it comes, it's okay. Yeah, that's how it came.
In fact, people are using background scores a lot nowadays. BGM जिसे कहते हैं. You again did it at that time, those background scores.
Yeah.
In fact, most of your films have always been known for background scores.
Yeah.
Where did you derive that from? Was that something you felt?
You see, I used to be obsessed with background scores of Hollywood films right from the beginning, starting from McKenna's Gold to even quite a few. Alien, for example, Ridley Scott's film. You know, in fact, when multiple viewings I used to do of many films, there were sometimes I used to close my eyes and not see the visual and only listen to the score, because the visual will disturb if you want to concentrate on the background score. So I have quite a lot of knowledge on the scores and the composers like Jerry Goldsmith and John Williams and Ennio Morricone. So that study, I think, helped me. So most of my initial films, even now to that extent, I will have some reference point of those scores. Yeah.
Why do you think Shiva became as big a hit as it became?
In the context, I think the main character was a kind of a mix of elements of Bruce Lee from Way of the Dragon. No, not martial arts, but I'm talking about in the context of his spirit and whatever. And then there is shades of Howard Rock from Fountainhead, in Ayn Rand's Fountainhead. Then there is Amitabh Bachchan's early films of 70s and 80s like Zanjeer and those films, you know. I think it was a mix of 5-6 different characters, apart from some people I knew personally at that time, who used to be the street toughs, you know. So I think it's a mix of all that, and almost everyone would have experienced something like that when they were in college. I think the relatability quotient had really worked. And then the action was so realistic. See, many people might not participate in action, but when you see the pain, the intent of the person, like when this guy is being beaten in the night effect, you can see that they're doing it almost like a job. They don't have an emotion, because in organized crime, it is not like that guy has done something personal to them. It is just to teach a lesson, to punish him. You know, I think they understood that, and that is what shocked them, almost as if what they have seen in their real life for the first time they're seeing on screen.
In fact, Nagarjuna has very few dialogues in the film.
Yeah.
He's basically expressing through silence.
Yeah.
And that itself says a lot.
Yeah.
Did he have any reservations about that? Because us time pe log
See,
itna bolte the dialogues.
yeah. See, because when I was narrating to Nagarjuna, he was very impressed, because I used to tell it in shots with the expression and the sound and everything, and making him understand. If, for example, already he's loved something like a Godfather, let's say, or some other film like that. So when I used to explain the psychology behind why that worked, and then I'm telling my scene and I'm giving a similar kind of a analysis of that, over a period of time, he was very convinced that I know what I'm talking about, and almost could make him see it and feel the impact. Yeah.
When did you realize that Shiva actually became this huge cult film, became a smasher at the box office? Did it grow slowly, or it just came like a tornado at the box office?
See, the point, when the film, in the making of the film, strangely, I never ever thought of whether it will be a hit or not. Because see, when you want a film to be a hit, you'll have a tendency to copy what's happening, what films were doing well at that time, becoming blockbusters. And since the structure is so new, I never had anything in my mind to make the film like that or this or whatever, no. So in the making time, except for Nagarjuna, there were quite a few people who were expressing doubts whether this kind of a film will
Will
work.
work.
Yeah. My own father told me it won't work after he saw the film because he felt it was a little too intelligent for the so-called audience, you know. And then when it released, I remember still my first distributor, my producer Nagarjuna's brother called him in the morning show, after the morning show, and he said, I don't know, people are just watching in silence. There no reaction at all. So we didn't understand what do you mean, because at that time also, because Nagarjuna is a star and people will clap for the dialogue and
Throw
all
money on
that.
the
Yeah, throw
screen.
money. That was not happening. You know. So nobody could understand. Then again, the same distributor called in the evening time. He said the reason they're silent is because they're stunned. They're shocked with the film. And that he realized it because people coming out, they're going to the next show again immediately. So the sound effects and the violence or whatever it is, the effect of it is so realistic and stunning. They were just their mouths open. So almost by night it was declared a blockbuster.
On the same day.
Same day, yeah.
Was this also inspired from Sunny Deol's Arjun?
Yes,
It
it was
was.
correct.
And bonafide hit day one. After that, was the industry saying, here is Ram Gopal Varma, he's arrived? Did that happen
Yeah,
to you?
yeah. So I see once the film, even though people were saying, a lot of people are saying it won't have repeat audience. Some people were saying women won't like it. Some people say there's no comedy in the film. It cannot be having a repetitive value. So everybody is waiting for what will happen on Monday, as usual. The Monday blues or whatever they
Sachai
call.
pata chalega Monday
Yeah,
ko,
yeah.
all that.
So then there used to be a magazine at that time, a trade magazine. And so because I'm hearing a lot of negative reviews also, and violence is being, romanticized or. And then I saw this trade magazine, there was a heading in an inside page. Wherever you go, anyone who talks to anyone, the only thing you're hearing is the word Ram Gopal Varma. That came in Telugu banner headline in that. That is when I realized the film is a big hit. Yeah.
Were they scared of you because you came with a new process of filmmaking, which had never been seen before?
See, interestingly, Raghuvaran, we didn't release the film yet. He just saw the double positive, what we call without the music and that, and I showed Raghuvaran, and he put his arm around me, like he's a very tall guy, and he took me to a corner and said, Ramu, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if this film will work or not, but the industry will be scared of you for a very long time. These was exact words he said.
And I asked you the same thing now.
Yeah, yeah.
I asked you, and I don't know about this conversation with you,
Yeah,
Raghuram.
correct.
Why did he say that to you?
See, I think he couldn't take away the novelty of the taking, the way the action has been shot. That is something no one has ever seen, something like that before. So that is a crafting of a director. Now the success can depend upon what kind of audience, how many audience will connect. That is what he meant. But he said no one can ignore the brilliance of the way the film is made. That's what he meant. See, some films can be shot just like that in a very traditional thing. They also can become blockbusters. We see there many examples like that. But the craft of making is what he was talking about.
Tell me about Raghuvaran. Menacing voice,
Yeah.
tall guy, one of the deadliest villains that I could ever find.
Yeah.
What made him him?
See, he is naturally very much like that. Raghuvaran, if you meet him in person, he is quite close to, forget the evilness of it, the intensity in his body language or the way he talks, the way he looks at you. Partly it's also because of his drugs. He's quite drugged most of the time. He's doped, And so he just, he unsettles you. When you are with him, you always have this, at the back of your mind, a little fear, not knowing what he will do next.
Did you face that?
Yeah, many times. See, what he does is he will, if I'm talking to him, I'm narrating to him, he will suddenly get up and look at me like that. Like, that is how he gets into the character. And when I was shooting this one scene where he stabs a guy on the road in the night. So that actor, I was talking to that actor, and Raghu was just looking at him and with a knife, and pacing around like that, as if just waiting to stab him. This is off camera. I'm not that. It's not, the shot is not ready yet. So this actor told me, Ramu, I'm not going to be in the frame with that guy and a knife in his hand, because he's into that method acting. I don't know if he'll stab me. I just said, oh, no, why? But I don't trust him. I am not going to be in the shot if with him and the knife. So I had to do some cuts and all that, and somehow managed to.
So he was.
But he does that. He does that. He slapped one guy, and the actor didn't know. He slapped. Then immediately hugs him. But the shot is there already. And he would expect someone else to do the same to him also. It's not like only he does it. Yeah.
So did you have fears while directing a person like this who you know is on drugs and could react anything?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it was very uncertain because he's got that natural intensity about him, and he keeps getting into the character and he shuts off reality. So whether he pretends that or whether it is the dope which is making him do that is anybody's guess, because you really can't have a very normal conversation with him.
So then what was the equation between Nagarjuna and him?
See, Nagarjuna and Raghu never met in the film except for one or two scenes, the climax and maybe just one scene actually. At that time, okay, we managed, yeah.
We managed means
Yeah,
what?
I mean, it's not like he's a troublesome guy. I don't mean that. He'll just kind of, he has a natural menace. Yeah.
Which are the moments that stood out for the audience, which you thought, "Theek hai, I've done it," but you didn't realize those scenes would become epic later on?
I would say definitely the cycle chain scene. I didn't think it was going to be, most talked about scene when he breaks the cycle chain, Initially, after I conceived the scene and I told Nagarjuna, they really loved it, and I got a doubt and I actually went to his cycle and I tried to break the chain, and I realized it's impossible to break a cycle chain. It's a chain, it's a thin chain, but it is very, very strong. So I thought people might laugh at it and they say, how can you break a chain in a realistic film like that? But I thought I only came to know now, so I won't know which audience will try to really break the chain and see if you really pull it strong, will it break or not, And then the railway gate scene, when Nagarjuna is waiting other side when Amla is kidnapped. And I really think the climax fight is one of the best, which I got copy. I kind of very much influenced from the fight in Mekana's Gold. Yeah.
Tell me about Amla. How was her character devised in your head?
Yeah, because Amla has, he's got a lot of poise and she's got a classiness about her, and the fact that she's a college student, and I wanted someone like her to set off the violence of Shiva. And Amla also is very naturally like that. Yeah.
Was on the set where their romance happened?
I won't be knowing that.
Sir, you're on the set, yeah.
They know each other from before also, and yeah.
They were not married at that time.
He was married.
They were married. He was married.
He was married, yeah.
Achha. But you don't know whether the chemistry started happening at that time on your set?
No.
I take your word for it, sir.
Yeah.
Coming to Satya now. You picked up ASA characters which are in the history of cinema. And you give hope to people. I never wanted to be an actor, but you gave hope to people who looked like me, if you know what I mean. I remember outside the factory, there used to be conversations, people standing outside your office saying, everyone has rejected the way we look. But Ramu ke picture mein apan ko role milega bhai, because they looked very different.
See, the difference is when a conventional good looker, which like a so-called star families or stars who come tall, fair, good looking, with a six-pack and X and Y, the standard requisites of a star is what we think was the thing. Now suddenly a movie like Satya working, so people wanting to become actors, they look at themselves in the mirror and they realize they don't have any of those traits what a star supposedly requires. So when Satya came out, they thought anybody can become. Manoj Bajpayee, he is conventional, he's a unconventional looker. He is not categorized in the six-pack, tall, muscular, whatever. He just looks like an everyday guy, but he can be so fucking effective on screen. So suddenly that created an explosion of the number of people, all kinds of people wanting to come into the industry.
Can I tell you, I never thought I was a decent looker also at one time, really. Because I came from Lucknow where people thought that Gora Punjabi Munda rocks and dark-skinned people like me didn't stand a chance in hell. Because of you, I started looking at myself in the mirror and thought,
Yeah.
"ठीक है, तू ठीक है यार, तू बुरा नहीं है यार."
Yeah.
I mean that. I mean that. Biku Matre, when you were devising it, did you really know this is going to be a cult character? Did you know?
See, initially when I started the film, I was actually wanting to cast Manoj Bajpayee in Satya because I saw Manoj in Bandit Queen, Shekhar Kapoor's film. He hardly has any role, maybe 3-4 scenes, but I was very, very impressed with him, especially one shot where he's holding back Fulan Devi to go and she's shouting and wanting to take revenge. That close-up is what which registered in my mind. So when I was talking to him initially, I wanted to make Satya with him playing Satya. But as the script was developing and I was getting more and more clarity on characters, I realized Biku Matre is actually the main guy of the film. So when I told Manoj, I don't need a great actor to play Satya. He needs to have a presence. Not that he doesn't need, but Biku Matre is actually the basic epicenter of the film. Without him, I can't imagine Satya as a film. I want you to play that. So because he couldn't see the whole film, he was disappointed because a new actor. So out of either no choice or out of respect for me, he agreed. But once he agreed, he put in his full heart. I can't imagine an actor of the caliber of Manoj. He just became the character. So like going back a little in our interview, and I said it is not me who made Manoj. Manoj Bajpayee made Biku Matre. See, I can conceive a character in theory, but one is the way he looks and the way he performed is what electrified the audience. So I would give that credit completely to Manoj.
Really inspired from an actual gangster?
Not really. But I would say from lot of actual incidents and actual characters, but not any specific person who existed. Yeah.
Chakravarti. Was he okay with the fact that he was the main character, name-wise, Satya?
Yeah.
But it was Manoj Bajpayee's film. Was he aware of it?
No, not really. See, the point is, at that time, I never consciously thought this belongs to any one character because there's no hero. There is no hero, villain, heroine. That is not the structure Satya was made in, But obviously, the film is called Satya and that is the name of the main character, which obviously looks like he's the hero. But in my mind, I never thought of it as hero, villain, heroine because if you look at it, there's no villain in Satya. Everyone has their own strong point of view. Including Guru Narayan to Bau, all of them are justified. So when there is no villain, how can there be hero? So if I didn't name it Satya, for example, I don't think anybody would have thought would actually thought about who's the hero. Yeah.
Can you tell me any one scene which you remember while shooting, which is epic in your mind, which you can never forget?
See, that one scene when they're sitting and they come to the decision of killing Amol Shukla, the commissioner of police, and Chandar gets shot, and then Manoj Biku Matre मर गया साला मना किया था शोध को. See, he's cursing him because he couldn't save him. He died. And his grief is coming out like anger. Then when Satya reasons out, the police are coming after us because they are not scared. Now if you do something so that they won't be so fast in coming, and then he suggests to kill the police commissioner, And the way Saurabh reacts to that, to both of them and saying, and finally, and there's one man sitting there silently listening without reacting, the long-haired guy, his name is Sabir. He was a filmfare journalist. He came to interview me and I cast him in that, incidentally, So that scene I think is one of my favorites, in Satya.
When Satya came out, Manoj Bajpayee,
Yeah,
non-conventional looking,
yeah.
became this big star. Could he handle it himself, the success? Did he come and express
I mean, that's a question I think you should ask Manoj, But like I keep talking about this to Manoj, see, I feel any kind of a success is not possible for it not to affect, And one grave mistake all of us make, not only Manoj, including me, when a film becomes a hit, it is a character which becomes a hit to start with. But the film industry frequently what they do, they leave the character and take the actor. The actor also, when he's doing the next film, he won't consciously think whether it will be as effective as the last film. That's the reason most of the actors, they seem to be oscillating so much between being fantastic in one film, not at all in another film. Same thing goes for directors also. If the subject matter you're choosing, will you measure it against what people like? Rarely people do. In fact, I don't remember a single director who does it. Yeah.
Satya became the next benchmark in your career.
Yeah.
So now we move on to Company. Ajay Devgn, Mohanlal, Vivek Oberoi. Why do you think of Ajay and Vivek specifically for those roles in Company?
See, my first, what do you call, instinct. See, as a story-wise, I used to meet some people during those days in '98 and all that. There are quite a few people in the producers and all that who were remotely connected to the underworld. They were not criminals themselves, but they kind of associate with them, sit and drink with them, and things like that. So there is one man I met who supposedly is very, very close to Dawood Ibrahim. So he told me the reason for the rift between Dawood and Chota Rajan. And in the course of telling me that, he said, वो लोग एक दूसरे के से इतना नफरत करते हैं इसलिए कि वो लोग एक दूसरे को प्यार करते हैं. They love each other, and that is what is hurting them and why they are intent on killing each other. In the context, I thought that was the line for me. They hate each other because they love each other. I think is a very a kind of a emotional hook for a gangster film. Then my first instinct actually was to cast Shah Rukh. I went and narrated the story also to Shah. Shah Rukh also was interested, but I somehow felt Shah Rukh has got a certain natural body language which is like very energy. It is kind of he's like a live wire. But the idea of Company, Malik's character, if I make Shah Rukh do like that, a very settled guy, is lean back and he doesn't get excited and he's very cold-blooded in his thinking, I thought his natural body language will be against what I thought. And to make Shah Rukh still, I think it will be doing a kind of injustice to him and also the film. So I think there's a performing actor, there is an actor. Performance is Shah Rukh. See, I don't want to say one is less or more. It is just a style of acting. So a guy like Shah Rukh should be left to himself. I think directors trying different kind of characters, I believe, will not work with Shah Rukh. Not that he's not done anything. Of course he's done, But Ajay is like a natural for that role. Because Ajay's natural body language, the way he sits very calm and this and that, And that is when I decided on Ajay.
So you narrated it to Shah Rukh, the film?
Yeah, I did.
You went back to Shah Rukh and tell him?
No. See, because that's any film with a star, it will happen in multiple meetings. I just had one meeting with him. And then in that meeting itself, I thought it will not work.
You told him that?
No. I didn't tell him.
So how do you let a Shah Rukh Khan know that I met you, but I thought you have too much energy for this role?
I mentioned to him finally. I said in the interviews also at that time, but at that time it was like In fact, I came out of Shah Rukh's house, and on the way to my office, I decided on Ajay, and I called Ajay and I went and met him on the same,
On the route back.
route back.
Oh God, huh?
Yeah,
And Ajay said yes in the first go.
yeah,
I heard Vivek did everything in his power
Yeah.
to impress you.
yeah. For Vivek's role, originally my choice was Abhishek
Bachchan.
Bachchan. Yeah. So, but at that time, Abhishek was doing 2-3 films. He didn't have time. So then I thought I'll take a new guy. And then I was producing a film called Pyar Tune Kya Kiya at that time. So Suresh Oberoi came to meet me and he showed me his son's pictures. You know, I immediately thought this is the guy. You know,
But I heard he darkened himself.
no, that is in terms of preparation for the role.
I was told he came to your office doing all that.
Yeah, he did.
Darkened himself, had a BD.
Yeah, yeah. He did the whole shirt and his look and all that. He worked on that and came in that getup. Yeah.
Because he felt you were not convinced that he was good enough for the role?
No, not really. See, I was convinced about him the moment I saw the photos when Suresh Oberoi showed me. Immediately, along with Suresh, I went to their house and they had an audition video of him saying a dialogue. I saw that and I immediately gave him some 100 rupees or something as a signing amount. Yeah, but this whole thing is done later in the course of preparing. Yeah.
How much did you pay Vivek for this role?
I have no right.
Kuch diya aapne.
Something I must have given.
I was told, and I've been told till date, that people wanted to work with you so desperately that no one would talk to you about monies. Is that true?
I mean, that's true. Many times it happened, you know.
Like people have done it free. Just
Yeah,
to be in the film.
yeah.
Main actors.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Mohan Lal. First time he was doing a proper bona fide Hindi film.
Yeah.
You kept his natural style in Hindi in the film also, no?
Yeah.
How he speaks Hindi with a
Yeah,
South
see,
accent.
because that was inspired by a real life police officer. who
Shivanandan
was a
sir?
joint commissioner at that time. So he has that heavy South Indian accent when he talks. So I thought if I'm calling him Shivanandan, which is obviously a Tamil name, so let him speak Hindi in accent. Yeah.
And how was his role perceived by the audience initially?
See, that was definitely inspired by Shivanandan. And I needed a South Indian actor. Initially, I wanted Kamal Hassan for that. I went to meet Kamal. And when I was talking to him, I suddenly realized, no, Kamal's acting style is like a very, I don't know what to call it. It's very stylized, you know. I thought that kind of a style in the atmosphere of Company will look very fake and too cinematic, you know. And same thing like Shah Rukh. I was in Kamal's, with Kamal. From there itself, I messaged Mohanlal.
So while you're talking, so you're talking to Kamal and you're messaging Mohan Lal.
Yeah.
Sir, kya hai yaar ye?
But that's okay. See, like I said, it is just like initial discussion, no? What do you think about it? And what,
So Kamal sir is here messaging
Yeah,
Mohan Lal.
Mohanlal.
And then you met Mohan Lal on
Yeah.
the way back.
Yeah, same, exact repeat.
So
I
this is
do
kind
that.
of
I do that all the time.
Some kick you get out of this.
No,
huh?
not a kick. I mean, it's just like, see, when you meet an actor, you are looking at the vibe, you're looking at his reaction, you're looking at other practical things of his timings and all so many things. It's not like the first time you approach somebody, both of you already decided, okay, let's do the film, and then I'm betraying you. It's not like that. It's just like a feeling out kind of a.
Yeah, but how does a Shah Rukh, did Kamal react knowing that you've come to them and you've on the way back you've signed someone else's?
I never connected back to them.
Does their ego get hurt?
No, don't think so. See, like, you know, when you're just feeling each other out, you're not really like serious, oh, this is a script and this is when I want to shoot. That is a different point. But this was very funny. Talking to Kamal and messaging Mohanlal, you know.
Only you can do that. I can imagine if Shah Rukh would have realized that on the way back, Ajay Devgn, मैं आ रहा हूँ.
Yeah.
Did Ajay know you narrated it to Shah Rukh a couple of minutes back?
I told him, but I don't remember when I told him. I don't think I told him at that time when I met him. But over the course of it, I must have told him.
So, Shiva, Satya, you're on a roll now. Jungle. Sunil Shetty, Urmila, Fardeen Khan, Raveena Tandon, Sushant Singh, all of them.
Rajpal Yadav.
Rajpal Yadav, you
Vijay
made
Raj.
him come out with flying colors in
Yeah,
that film.
Vijay Raj, yeah.
Vijay Raj, all of them. You shot the whole film in a jungle. You know? Survival drama film.
Yeah.
You were sure it'll attract the audiences?
I mean, I don't think anybody will know. See, the audience, we kind of use that word very loosely. It's like a label, putting. It's actually, in reality, there'll be, all of them are different people. They'll have different tastes and sensibility. If I like the location of jungle a lot, and I thought loosely based on a Veerappan kind of a guy there and a hostage drama as a thriller, I thought will be interesting. Yeah, beyond that, I didn't think about it. Eventually, I think any film, if made decent, it will have its audience. All of them might not like that kind of film, but some might. And if you make it in a certain budget, it should justify that. Yeah.
Rajpal Yadav till date talks about that role,
Yeah.
how it changed his life.
Yeah.
Tell us about some behind the scene moments.
See, Rajpal Yadav, strangely, the fact that today is one of the best comedians is known. I never saw comedy in him when I took him for Jungle. I just like the idea that he's short guy and he's got this voice, and then he's unimaginably, I don't know how to call. I mean, committed for, like, gets into the character. I remember when we were shooting the hijack scene, they kind of stop the bus and take the hostages. He's a kind of an actor who doesn't care where the camera is. See, actors generally are conscious of where the camera is, so they want to be there in the frame. He goes out of the frame or he goes out of focus because he's so much into what he should do as a character in the. I mean, actor needs to control, keeping in mind the craft, and then he used to, whether he has a shooting or not, because we're all staying in one resort in Mudumalai forest in Tamil Nadu. So he used to have this with his shorts and loose knicker and putting the dust and all that was sitting, and insects are biting him, mosquitoes are biting him. I say, Rajpal, today you don't have a shot, just go back to the hotel. No, he wants to stay there. So that kind of a commitment, very few actors. I saw probably, I would say, Manoj, Bajpayee and Rajpal. Beyond these two, I don't remember any other actor.
You were so obsessed with
Obsessed, yeah.
What is this obsession for? Is it obsession for fame, money, power, to become stars, or just worshipping their craft that you saw in Rajpal and Manoj?
See, these guys, I think they genuinely, I mean, I don't know, love is the correct word. They get a high, I think. I think it's almost like when you get high, not a drink, or maybe like a cocaine or something. I don't know what else as a word to use. I feel they get a high in front of the camera to enact an emotion or whatever the character requires. And I can see the transformation in them, how they are outside and how they are inside.
In fact, Sushant Singh also won quite a few awards for his role in Jungle. And after that, I didn't see him to the level I would have loved to see him, Sushant. What do you think would have gone wrong? Because he was definitely one of India's finest actors.
I mean, I don't know about that. See, I would say in the Jungle, when first time when people saw, the whole attention went to Rajpal and Vijayaraj more than Sushant, because Sushant, I think, he was more contained, which could be the way I designed the character. There was nothing beyond a point, whereas these guys surprise the audience. See, Vijayaraj has a very strange like kind of look. He's thin, wiry, but he looks dangerous, And Rajpal, of course, whatever he said, yeah.
Fardeen Khan, you worked with him back to back. Pyar Tune Kya Kiya, Jungle. Now, everyone knew, and it's a no-brainer, that Fardeen is a very, very good-looking guy. That's understood, okay? But a lot of questions were raised on his acting abilities. People didn't think of him being a great actor. He had great screen presence. But you repeated him.
See, I don't agree that he's not a good actor, because Fardeen's main issue is his accent, because he was mostly in the abroad, So his Hindi, I feel his father put some tutor to him, which he also told me, that guy taught him very Shuddh Hindi. It sounds very fake,
Fardeen's tutor.
Fardeen's tutor when he's being prepared for his first role. See, suppose kya kar rahe ho? So if I say that, now Fardeen will say kya kar rahe ho. He will talk like that, Because of that kind of a style of learning Hindi, it doesn't look natural, and that is the reason why some people feel that he's not a good actor. But I think he's a very intelligent guy. He's very and because I understand that as a director, I would say that, yeah.
I definitely feel that Fardeen had the X factor always, but these were industry talks
No,
simultaneously.
and I'm saying, no, I also heard the talk, but I would think it's a lot to do with his accent. The way he talks Hindi, it comes across as that, yeah.
Bhoot.
Yeah.
Ajay Devgn, Urmila Matondkar. Urmila being possessed. Was it emotionally draining for her to do that role?
I'm sure. See, for sure, because see the kind of versatility she has to do a Rangeela and then Satya, where she's playing a very conservative middle class girl who wears saris, and then from in Rangeela to look so hot, and then in Booth to scare the people is not a joke. That kind of a trajectory for an actor. So that obviously I did it instead of in The Exorcist, the mother and daughter, I just changed that into a husband and wife. That's what I've done in Booth. Yeah.
Again, Ajay Devgn, repeating him. Was it because of the intensity that he has in real life that attracted you towards him?
Yeah, what I love about Ajay is his calmness. He just doesn't need to do anything. He just says his eyes are very powerful in terms of it. Like I think some of the best shots in my career are Ajay Devgn's close-ups in Company. And in Booth, I wanted him because to see Ajay Devgn looking scared can scare the audience, because he's a macho hero, And see if it looks that Urmila, so the believability becomes so much more because of Ajay's image.
I have known Vivek since I was in college. He was my college senior.
Yeah.
Do you think Vivek actually at any point of time became arrogant with the success that he got?
Arrogant, I don't know is the right word. See, once I advised him, some actors who are very good in some type of roles, these intense, hard-hitting roles you should not try love stories and all that. Not that that's a rule. For example, Satya also worked, So I think if you do something like that, like a young Nana Patekar or something, some films will work, some people, but you will slowly start developing. But if you go to the other zone, that's risky because it will create a confusion, is my opinion, even till today. Though some films like Satya worked or whatever. But actors always are greedy that they want to do all kinds of roles. Whatever they're good at, they want to leave that and they want to do the other role. It's like in the hotel, always food in the other guy's plate looks tasty. Correct. All actors go through that to some extent, yeah.
Con. One, literally, I was told, and correct me if I'm wrong, Con, that you had a single house for 15 days and you shot the film.
Yes. Yeah.
To maintain suspense, paranoia across 15 days in a single house.
Yeah.
Was that difficult?
No, it was not. And it's also improvised. Most of the time we didn't follow the script or anything. And
suspense thrillerly, you didn't have a script?
No.
How?
I just had the opening, probably because it's one single scene. It's not even like scenes. I can't even call it scenes. I just the opening 20 minutes of the film I had. Rest of it was constantly getting improvised. See, I'll tell you something which most people might not believe also, if I say that now. Only when I started having for what is it called, bound script, my film stopped working from then. I know nobody will believe this, And I'll tell you the reason. I figured out the reason. See, when you are making without really knowing what you are making, your instinctive involvement comes in another level, you know. But when you're trying to copy what's already decided, you're just putting it on film, somewhere your emotion gets lost. Your personal thing gets lost. I'll give an example. In a scene near the ending of Satya, no? After Satya runs from Urmila, he comes running and Saurabh puts a gun on him, you know. Mar Mama, Makaran says, and cut to Makaran, the shot lying dead, and they both are talking. This cut. Now I got the idea even when the lighting was going on for that. The only Saurabh was there in that, you know. So I suddenly thought, what are the remaining characters? I wanted to kill all of them to not to leave loose ends. So I called Makaran. Makaran, what are you doing? I said, I'm at home. I'm thinking of killing your character. Can you come to the shoot? I said. Hmm? He came and I shot at him. You know. Now how the hell are you going to make a decision like that? When someone asked me, I said, you see, that's how it happens in real life. Suddenly a guy dies in an accident out of the blue without anything. In a film, you structure it. In real life, you can't structure it. You don't know when the hell, what is going to happen. You know. So if that day, if Makaran was busy, I wouldn't have done that. You know. So I had very clear characters in my mind, but I had no story. Somewhere halfway through, I figured out the climax. Climax as in, he will want to go to Urmila and he will be killed there. That is the end of the film. You know. So there were scenes, there were characters. Most of the time, I didn't know what I was doing, what I was going to do. I mean,
So which are those films you had a bound script and it didn't work?
quite a lot.
Why don't you tell me?
I mean, the bone script department was there, ARG was there, you know, and yeah, quite a few. Yeah. So because see, but I'm not saying because of the bound script. I'm just giving you a theory or a speculation that if you are so clear about the film, even before you start it, it can become old. There could be some kind of a withdrawal from feeling it. So then you are trying to do it mechanically without putting your heart in it. That is what I'm saying.
Rangeela, you said it was not
Ah.
as perfect a film as Satya.
I didn't say that exactly. I mean, maybe I think Satya, I can't improvise. Rangeela, when I see, I feel there could be some things which could have been better.
Like what?
I mean, I can't say anything like it's in the story or anything. Some scenes I think were a little too flat and in the way they were shot. I mean, I can't describe the shots and all that. I don't feel it's as tight as it should have been.
So when you look at Rangeela, you're not too happy about it?
If I'm 100% happy with Satya, I probably am about 80% happy with Rangeela.
आपने कहीं कहा था कि मणि रत्नम और AR रहमान के नाम को देखकर रंगीला बनाने का ख्याल आया.
No. See, the reason is, Rangeela, mainly like when I heard the songs of Roja and also saw the way Mani Ratnam shot, that was one point. You know, because I never heard sound like what Rahman does and the beautiful way Mani pictures songs. So I thought of taking it as a challenge to shoot songs well, you know. Then after that, when I saw Urmila dancing in this Gayam, that is a script written by me and Mani Ratnam. In that, the choreographer didn't come because he couldn't catch a flight or something, you know. So because time was getting wasted, I asked Urmila to improvise and dance herself when we were shooting something. And the way she did that, I suddenly thought of Rangeela again, you know, which I almost abandoned the film maybe a couple of years before that, you know. And yeah, that's how it happened.
The way you presented Urmila, I mean, she became the poster girl for everyone around. What a transformation. She was looking stunning. Was it difficult to get her into that role, that mold, or it came naturally to her?
I think it was quite very like her as a person. I mean, I generally have a tendency to get a character very near to the person. Not all the time, but quite a few times. I would say that,
Jaggu Dada knew ki his role was like a cameo. It was going to be Aamir and Urmila's film.
Yes, yes, yes. Even because see, the point is, first of all, I don't think Jackie is a guy who really used to take film seriously. Most of the time, he doesn't even listen to the script. In fact, doesn't listen to the scene also. But he's instantaneously a very great actor. I see that quality probably. I can't think of any other actor.
In this film also, you didn't have a bound script, Rangeela? You went
No.
spontaneously?
Yeah, silent, spontaneous.
Was that because of which you had a conflict with Aamir?
No. See, Aamir's conflict was not that. See, I'll tell you the reason. See, Aamir expressed a doubt halfway through the film. He felt the story, there is no conflict, there is no antagonist, and Aamir is a nice looking guy. He's got no problem. The parents have no problem. When nobody has a problem, just the aspect that she's only telling in the end that she also loves Aamir, he thought it was very forceful. I mean, just for the convenience of the story, you're trying to delay it. What if he said it in the second scene that I love you? What would she have said? And why would a guy who's is extrovert guy, he sells tickets in black and he thinks no end of himself, the way he talks and all that, why would he not say it? Why would he wait till conveniently till the end of the film? I said, Aamir, you're right in theory. Definitely, I don't have an answer for that. But when I told you the story the first time, because you didn't know what is going to happen, you heard it like that. But now you have time. You know the end. You have time to think about it and all that. That is the reason, because you know the end, you are having a problem in the course of the screenplay. Aamir suggested he should conflict. You will want to possessively beat up Jackie or something. I said that defeats the purpose. The character of, Rangeela is a story of Munna. Because Munna is seeing Aamir, Urmila. Munna is trying to imagine what she's thinking or feeling, and X and Y, or whatever it is, So I said, but Aamir, to be fair, he said, once I said that, so he said, Aamir, Ramu, I don't think any two people can see the film in a same way. So if you are feeling strong, I want to put on record, I disagree with you, but I will go by you. And he did it with complete conviction, the rest of the film. And when the film became a blockbuster, he told me, I'm glad I was wrong. I said, we don't know, because if I did it the way you suggested, it could have become a bigger hit. How will you know that? Yeah. Now, coming to the conflict point, that happened because there was a journalist called Khalid Mohammed, and he was taking an interview with me. And he had some issues with Aamir, because Aamir doesn't come to Filmfare awards or whatever reason. So when he was talking to me in the context of that scene in Rangeela, I said, when the waiter to finance चालू कर, AC is on, sir. तो इधर घुमाना. I was talking about that scene, and I told Khalid, everybody laughs because of the way Aamir said the line. The performance is not there. The performance is in the waiter's close-up. The way he reacts, it's like, ऐसे लोगों को मेरे को serve करना पड़ता है. That is the reaction that particular actor gave. That is which makes people laugh. But when they're narrating, अरे आमिर कैसा बोलता रे? Fan on चालू कर, AC इधर घुमा. I said, if I made a mistake in the casting of that guy, it could have fallen flat if he didn't react in the way it is supposed to be. So technically speaking, only if you take that moment in isolation, the waiter is better than Aamir, I said. This guy went and put a Times of India article, the waiter is a better actor than Aamir, Ram Gopal Varma.
Oh.
He put that. Now, by the time this article came out, I was in some deep part of Andhra Pradesh. I was shooting some Telugu film at that time. And those days there were no cell phones. So Aamir tried to contact me about this, and I was not available on the phone because there's no phones where I was shooting. So there was a delay of about maybe a couple of weeks or something. So Aamir thought, because I was not responding, I did it. and I was just trying to hide. And because everybody was asking Aamir, how can these guys say that? So he also reacted. Then by the time I could come and explain to him, and I said, Aamir, it's true that I said it, but I said it in this context. But I should have had better brains than to trust a guy like Khalid Mohammed to understand and put it in so many words. So if he took off the entire context, how can anybody say Aamir is an actor who's proven from Qayamat se Qayamat tak? It's not, I was not the guy who launched him. You know?
And there are no two
How
ways that
will
he's a great
anyone,
actor, yeah.
how will anyone say the waiter is better than Aamir? How does it make sense at all? You know. Anyway, that is a series of misunderstandings, but it got cleared up. Yeah,
But it take a lot of time to clear it up?
it did. I mean, it also because I was not really going and talking, because see, at that time I was close to Khalid also. Now Khalid said my editor did it, I didn't do it. Some sub editor did it or something like that. And then Aamir wanted me to publicly say that Khalid Mohammed, I couldn't do it because the truth is I said it. What I said in this context, what I explained just now.
So you wanted a public apology or version of you, Aamir.
Yeah, he asked
And
me.
you didn't do that.
I didn't do that. But so that is definitely my mistake, because if I'm, whether it's unintentionally or not, if I'm trying to pull someone down, I should have the sense not to say something like that to a guy like Khalid Mohammed.
So how long were you and Aamir not communicating?
It is, I mean, see, also we didn't work together, no? So, see, only if you're working together, meeting, the chance of talking to each other comes. But they later, after explained, I met him at a party thrown some 10 years back. At that time also we sat and talked. Yeah.
But do you feel that you lost out on a lot of chances because of this misunderstanding with Aamir and you could have done more work with him?
Not really. No. Because I never thought of any film with Aamir after that, technically. So, which is the reason I never met him, often or whatever. Yeah.
In that character that Aamir plays, the way he talks, his accent, the dialect and all, how much was it your input? How much was his input?
See, Aamir is a very, very involved actor. See, he's very particular about the clothes and what he wears. And writer Neeraj Vora, I think, also to be given a lot of credit. Neeraj Vora is also very tapori kind of guy from Gujarati stage, and he wrote the dialogue for the film. He and Sanjay Chel. So I think Neeraj and Aamir, as a combination, worked out the character. I would believe that I give more credit to both of them in the context than me for his character. Yeah.
Dord, you've openly said the music of Dord was better than Rangeela,
Yeah.
according to you. Why do you think Dord didn't work?
I think I was very indulgent in the editing, one, and second is I think the fact I'm coming after Rangeela, and there was no emotional quotient at all in Dord. So it was more like just songs, and no one really got into the story. In fact, I keep telling Manoj, you are the main reason for getting for Dord not working, because he's the only guy who took the scene seriously. So the opening sequences, he was so intense when he's in Paresh Rawal's gang, you know. So suddenly when the film went into a caper, it went into a kind of a spoof kind of a thing, it disturbed. So why did the sudden turn happen is because of Manoj Bajpayee. I tell him till today, Dord fails on your account, I said, you know. Now, in fact, I remember Sushant Singh. Sushant Singh told me, he said he and his wife or girlfriend, I think, were watching Dord, and somewhere in the middle of the second half, he looked at his wife and said, it's a comedy. He said, everyone. It took him that long to realize or whatever. So I think Dord as a title, Sanjay Dutt's image as an action hero coming after Khalnaik and all that, a combination of all this is, I think, the audience couldn't connect to the film.
Was it supposed to be a comic caper?
Yeah, it was always a comic caper. Yeah, in my mind it was that, yeah. But I forgot to tell and project that to the...
And because also the kind of image you had, gravitas.
Yeah, correct. I
all
never
that.
did something like that. Yeah, correct.
Satya.
Because a lot of time, like was Mr. Bachchan tells me that Dord is one of his favorites. Shah Rukh told me once, and he said, Shah Rukh said, if someone like me was there, it would have become a hit. Means not that he will do a better job. So now Sanjay Dutt is a macho guy, Khalnayak and all that. And now Shah Rukh, because of his love stories, his comedy, his sense of humor, it could be much more, yeah.
In fact, in this Instagram days of memes, that Neeraj
Yeah.
scene with Sanjay Dutt and Urmila,
Yeah.
वो आगे था, मैं
Yeah,
पीछे
yeah,
था.
correct.
He's still going viral, yeah.
Yes,
Maybe
yes.
if that released now, it
Yeah.
could have taken
Yes,
off. You're
yes,
all,
yes. That was written by Sanjay Chher, that scene.
है ना?
Yeah.
It's crazy. वो आगे था, मैं पीछे था.
Yeah.
And it
शेर
comes on
के
the screen.
आगे. When we were taking that, I took the shot with the steady cam. It was one single take. And the camera is going on. And we took so many takes because the cameraman couldn't stop laughing. And it was shaking. It's cut. And then,
It was too funny, yeah.
Yeah.
Till date, it comes on my Instagram feed. Sarkar.
Yeah.
Bachchan sir being projected in such a way. We know about your obsession with Mr. Bachchan.
Yeah.
Was Mr. Bachchan confident about Sarkar? And did you know that it's going to get Bachchan sir back the way he was supposed to get back?
See, I wouldn't want to make such predictions at that time. But for example, for me, two things influenced me the most to become a director. One is Amitabh Bachchan and second is Godfather. So Amitji, because of Zanjeers and Trishuls and Divas in my growing years, he was the number one and only hero for me. I never ever used to look at any other hero except Mr. Bachchan. And then when, of course, the combination of Godfather, okay. So I wanted to make the novel had a slightly different tone from the film. The way Coppola made it was in a different tone, and the novel of Mario Puzo had a completely different thing. So I wanted to catch that tone and reinterpret Godfather in another thing. So I took the nearest reference as Bal Thackeray. If a Bal Thackeray exists, Sarkar also can exist. And I thought it was about power of a man. See, the difference mainly if you look at the interaction scenes of Godfather and Sarkar. Now, in Godfather, he says, why didn't you come to me? Why did you go to the police? So a man who comes in trouble and is actually asking him, mere paas pehle kyun aaya? I don't think anybody will say that. So here, Sarkar takes it on himself as if it happened to his own daughter. It happened to his own family member. He takes it as seriously as the old man is complaining. And that makes it personal. That is the principal difference between Godfather and Sarkar. Yeah.
In fact, we all know, we've been discussing this for years, Abhishek's potential has never been tapped the way it should have been. Again, a fab actor. Abhishek and Bachchan sir, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, the same frame. Was Abhishek confident to take on this role as well? Or did he have apprehensions?
No, absolutely. See, Abhishek is a very confident actor. Absolutely, in terms of that. And I think I would like to believe probably he's the only actor I worked with who's not intimidated by Amitabh Bachchan. Every other actor, I see them very jittery in his presence, except for Abhishek. So, and you can very clearly see that. He's tired of, he doesn't try to overdo anything. He just has his own space, and unless is required, he doesn't come in. Taking all that into thing, I would like to believe that forgetting what he does with his legend like Amitabh Bachchan. Otherwise, also he's one of the most confident actors I've ever worked with or seen.
When you made Sarkar, did your obsession with Bachchan take over, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, or did you allow the story to flow?
See, my obsession with Amitabh Bachchan was definitely there. See, because when I was shooting the first scene with Mr. Bachchan, when Rashid comes, Amit suddenly asked me this question. When I don't want that guy, why am I talking so much? लोग अपनी अपनी नजर यहाँ से देखते हैं, मैं वही करता हूँ, and I won't do this. A long dialogue. He says, why am I talking to him? I said, you're talking to him because the people like listening to you. I said, that's only logic I give.
So it was obsession.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I said, people want to hear you say a dialogue. Yeah. When you are talking about in the film, I should say to that guy. You are actually saying to the audience, not him. I said, yeah. I want to hear you saying a line like this. And that became a famous ringtone
Yeah, no?
all over the place.
I
Yeah.
also had it as
Yeah,
a
yeah.
ringtone, yeah. सर के मेनन भी थे उस फिल्म में. What makes KK Menon the guy that even if he comes for 3 seconds, he takes over the scene? Yeah?
See, I think he's a very intense actor. And yeah, I mean, I saw him in Anurag Kashyap's Punch much before its release. And that's where I got aware of him by casting him. Yeah.
Sir, Ram Gopal Varma ki aag. Now we're going to get into that. One thing I appreciate about you, you take the flack as well. Did you become so overconfident? And did you actually start believing that you become the god of direction, at least in India, that you took that?
See, I think my initial thing, the way I took Godfather and made Sarkar, I would say is a parallel thing in terms of why I picked up Sholay. That's also most influential film for me. In the making of that, I think either I lost my head or I lost my ability to, in terms of but definitely agree with one thing. See, in Sarkar, I was very careful about how exactly I'm presenting Mr. Bachchan.
You had a responsibility.
Yeah, I won't say I didn't want to let down Godfather and also Amitabh Bachchan, you know. In art, definitely, I never consciously thought about it, but now I think what you said is right. I felt too confident about my craft and my my ability. See, the idea of remaking Sholay came to me because Sasha CP, the grandson of original producer GPCP, he called me and he said, me and my grandfather want to discuss a project with you. So I went to town, and then when I was talking to them, he had an idea of making a sequel to Sholay. Okay, so some of the characters died, like Sanjeev Kumar, for example. Actors died on the original, and some of the characters died in the film. So who were left is Jayaji, Basanti, Hemamali, and of course Dharmender. So their idea was Viru and Basanti have two sons. I know they are the actors. Now Gabbar Singh, after Mehbooba's song, he had sex with Helen. So now they have a son. The original Gabbar is gone. So the son of Gabbar Singh versus the sons of Viru and Basanti is story they have. Idea. On top of that, they wanted a role for Jackie Chan. And where did Jackie Chan come from? So he said, Jackie Chan is the biggest brand in Asia. Sholay is the biggest brand in India. A combination of this, we can do wonders across, So I thought it was a loony bin thinking. And I left that project. And when I was coming back from there, I suddenly thought, what can be done with Sholay? Okay, forgetting that, what he suggested. And so I thought, what if we set in a city where at that time Vallabh Thakur, oil mill owner, was shot dead by the underworld. I thought, if I create a man who's like all his life he worked and then now he's retired, and now his son becomes an extortion victim for the underworld. Now at the age of 70, when he's weak, can't do anything, his son being ruthlessly killed by a gangster from abroad, by hiring a shooter who works for the underworld. So how the old man goes and hires a shooter from the underworld to go on to his own boss abroad. That was my first idea. It is just setting Sholay in a city. And then when I started thinking, and the first thing what went wrong, I'll tell you, is when I was sitting in the office talking about it, and someone told Rajiv, Rajiv is a marching ants owner, the publicity designer. He heard from my office that I was planning to remake Sholay. So he came to me with a what do you call a portrait of Amitabh Bachchan playing Gabbar in a modern thing. You know. Now when I saw it, I thought it was ridiculous. What is it? There were some 10 people with me at that time. All of them said fantastic. And I said, but he's not looking real. What is the shoes and this and that? And he said, sir, at that time, Gabbar Singh was a nobody. Today is icon. No, we're talking about some 30, 40 years later. You can't be having a normal guy, normal looking guy or something like that. So now it is difficult whether I'm having a mental block or a conviction. So I thought I'll go and show it to Mr. Bachchan. Bachchan also said fantastic. But you see, Mr. Bachchan doesn't even know what I'm planning. So out of the trust he developed on me because of Sarkar, he would go by it. He didn't really discuss. I hardly was there with him for 5 minutes. I said, Amitabh Bachchan को भी अच्छा लग रहा है और ये लोग भी बोल रहे हैं. So maybe I'm not. I think I'm getting stuck on that thing and not thinking on a more mental block को remove करना. Once I started compromising, everything snowballed from there. Every decision was wrong. See, for example, I say, कितने आदमी थे? You will say just कितने. You know? And then for everything like this, and in the interpretation of the original Sholay to new remake, I was getting into these bits and parts and I completely lost control and track of what the actual film is supposed to be about. You know? So meanwhile, when the film in parts you're seeing, everybody's loving it, everybody's saying fantastic. That happens to all films. So then maybe it's going in the right path or whatever. Then a series of incidents happened, like they tried to put a copyright claim on the title and this and that, and then we had to change characters' names, and it was all over the place. And I realized it around maybe 60-70% of the film. After it got over, I realized I completely lost cause. There's no way I can do anything.
Salvage this.
Yeah, I realized it. And I thought, whatever is there, let's do it now. Yeah.
So Ajay also knew this was a lost cause while shooting?
I think not maybe in the because I don't remember if he saw it in between, but I'm sure he knew it. Everybody knew it a few weeks before the release.
Bachchan Sahab also knew it?
I think so. Yeah. But see, now when I'm quoting Rajiv Mansan or Amitabh Bachchan said this or whatever, I am not trying to blame them, mind you.
Sure.
Because see, it is so easy to get carried away unless you have a strong, because Sholay became like meme material in my mind. It's like एक dialogue ऐसा है, एक shot ऐसा है, एक expression वैसा है. I was trying to do that, reinterpret it in the modern way and completely missing out on what the actual film is supposed to do. My original line, which I said, an old man hiring a shooter to kill the boss, if I did that, I definitely believe it would have worked.
Tell me, when people said Ram Gopal Varma,
Yeah.
genius of a filmmaker, all right?
Yeah.
Sorry to say this, and I may be candid with you. It's the first time I started hearing in the market, in the industry, that Raj Gopal Varma has lost it. You heard that?
Yeah, many times.
But this was the first time I think I heard that.
This was the first, which time? Farag, you're talking Sholay.
Yeah. Sholay, Ram Gopal Varma.
Yeah, but it is true also. I just know explain that. It is true also, because see, eventually, what is a director? A director is not a primary artist in the sense of the word. See, there is music, there's dialogue, there's acting, there's all kinds of craft, and they all are channelized through, and they are working, and I'm channelizing through my vision. And if my vision goes wrong, everything goes wrong. So 100% they're
tore
right.
the film apart.
Yeah, correct.
Was it a heartbreak for you?
No, not at all. Because I was expecting that.
So you mentally prepared.
I was mentally prepared. Yeah.
Nishabd, 2007.
Yeah.
Everyone said you gave Mr. Bachchan, Amitabh Bachchan, a taboo role.
Yeah.
When he heard that role of him being cast opposite a much, much younger girl, what was his reaction?
No, he loved the idea because of the complexity of the performance that kind of a role requires, and he was aware of Lolita, which is Stanley Kubrick's one of the iconic films. And but Just the day of the shoot started in Munnar, we were shooting. He came from the makeup man and he told me, his makeup man, his name is Deepak. He told him, sir, this film is a big mistake you are making. People won't accept you in this kind of
Deepak
role.
told him.
Deepak told him just before he was taking the first shot.
And Bachchan Saab came and told you.
Yeah, he told me.
When you went to Satya 2, the original Satya fans were upset, no?
Of course, yeah.
What did you think of Satya 2?
More or less same thing like Aag.
Aag.
Yeah. And Satya 2 incidentally was the first bound script I worked on. I don't think anybody will believe this, no? And I sent it to 20 people for their opinion. All of them said it's fantastic.
You're mocking them, huh?
I'm telling you.
Oh, God. I want to talk to you about Antra Mali.
Huh.
She just disappeared, but she worked in a lot of your films. In fact, I really liked Antra Mali. And I'm actually looking forward to doing a podcast with her. If I could find her, it'll be great. What was it about Antra Mali that you kept repeating in few films?
No, I think she's a very good actress. When she done Company, she did this role in Mast. That's when I started. And and I think her performance is very good in Match also. Yeah, later she got married and left. Yeah.
Sir, your obsession with actresses is what people have spoken over the years. Your obsession with Urmila Matondkar, your obsession with Antra Mali as well. Where does this stem from? Are you actually obsessed with them?
No. See, the point is, I might have developed a certain comfort level. That will happen with technicians, actors also. Like with Chakri, I have done 7-8 films, for example. With Nagarjuna, 7-8 films I did. Amitabh Bachchan, I did 10 films. Only when there's a girl I am repeating, this thing comes, obsession. So nobody can say I'm obsessed with Amitabh Bachchan because I love to see him and I love to create roles for him. So similarly, I worked with Sandeep Chauta in nearly 7-8 films. So I repeat technicians, actresses, lot of actors and everything, out of which the women are talked about only because of the,
You also recently, and I really want to see the other side of you, and I want to understand what goes on in your mind. One of the greatest films this country has seen, and till date, people talk about it. Like I move around, I do podcasts. Somewhere or the other, I'm not saying this because you're in front of me, people talk about you. They still talk about Ramu ke jaise, main ek shot lena chahta hu. Then licking someone's foot like Ashu Reddy in a video. What was your intention?
See, the point is, I do such stuff all the time, and incidentally, I only put that on my Twitter. It's
I'm
not
very
like
surprised.
somebody
Why?
else, because I just express myself. Like the way my den photos are there in RGV, my office, and whatever I feel like at that point of time, I do it spontaneously. And people will think either I'm drunk or whatever, I lost
Were you
it.
drunk
That's
in that
okay.
video?
No. See, and if you look at it, you go to the timeline, I put that the next morning. I didn't put it, that was shot, I think, roughly in the evening or something. Yeah. Likewise, I put a tweet on Amitabh Bachchan in 2009, when Buddha Hoga Tera Baag, which became a big
You
thing.
use an abusive word for
Yeah, correct. So all of them come in the same category. Yeah.
Is it because you enjoy the attention? That's why you do all this?
I would say I just like to be myself. I don't care about what somebody else will think or how they will look at it and things like that. I would say, yeah. So, for example, for my autobiography, I called it Guns and Thighs. When they asked me why the title, I said mainly I was influenced to come into films because of Amitabh Bachchan's guns and Zeenat Aman's thighs, I said. Now, who will say something like that? They will say, I wanted to tell great stories, or I was this and that and all that, or talking about Stanislavski or Orson Welles and all that. So to say that, which is actually the truth, I actually mean it. I many times said my first biggest attraction to me in heroines was Sridevi's thighs. I said that many times, because I was in my teenage, our film came, and I said it took me some time to register her face because I was so fascinated with her thighs. So I always am very outspoken in terms of whatever my feelings are, and the video images are an extension of the same phenomena. Yeah.
So when you say certain things about Sridevi ji like this or Zeenat Aman ji like this,
Yeah.
you're not worried about what their family might think or people might think?
See, if I'm telling the truth and they're public figures, and whether it's politicians or film stars or anyone, everybody says that. And today, if you look at the social media, everybody says something about everybody, and the language could be different, their personalities can be different. So I don't apologize for that.
In
I
fact, you did
probably do
an
that.
analogy of Smita Patil and Sridevi ji also, saying that Smita Patil would have got much more roles, but Sridevi got more roles because of,
Thais.
yeah.
I would say the fan following. I don't know. Getting roles is the point. I think the number of people are crazy about her is also due to her sex symbol image. That's what I meant. Yeah, not only for her acting ability.
So, you've also spoken openly about porn,
Yeah.
right? And you've said that it's okay if people watch it.
Yeah, I said by hiding the fact that everybody knows and the fact that India is probably maybe the second highest watching country in the world, trying to ignore it and to brush it under the carpet, I think will have counterproductive measures to what they think is wrong about it. That's what I meant in that article I wrote.
God, Sex and Truth, you worked opposite with a porn star.
Yeah.
Mia Malkova. उस पे भी बहुत बड़ा protest
Yeah.
था. Again, was it because you wanted to push the envelope?
It's the same thing. Exactly. All this will come under the same category.
Pushing the envelope.
Yeah, pushing the envelope. Whatever I feel strongly about, I will do it because I'm living my life for myself, not for somebody else. And I'm willing to bear the consequences of my decisions. Yeah.
Sir, I'm going to be very honest. With the body of work you've done, and then suddenly people start saying that Ramu is doing this, doing that, doing this, licking someone's foot and all that the whole gravitas of what you've done somewhat fades away? And does that make you think about it?
See, the point is, if that is coming along with me making great films, nobody would have had a problem, But when my films are not working, or at least I'm not making good enough films, I think only this will get isolated, and it will be easy for people to label it as he's lost it or whatever. So, but from my perspective, why I was not making films? Okay, I don't want to get that to take too long a time to. So I would think it's a combination of that. You see, I said this. I used to do this all the time. For example, when I am talking about what I said to Mr. Bachchan, and I talked about Sridevi's thighs right after my first film, even before I made a film with her. So those films are working. So this was kind of ignored, or maybe the social media was not so much there at that time, so it didn't get amplified. But this is not a new thing I started. I was always like that.
So I'm going to ask you, have you ever thought about the fact that here's a man who makes genius films and is now not delivering those genius films, or which are working at the box office? Do you think about it yourself? And what is going wrong?
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. See, recently I put a long note after seeing Satya after 25 years in terms of that. See, the point is at a point of time when I'm making new kind of films or new genres or whatever, you reach a point where you feel you've done everything, there's nothing new, and that is a wrong thing. It's not like there can never be a time when you can't think of anything more, if you're into that. So I just think I did some political films because I was involved loosely with a political party, and I was producing some films without. So the passion or whatever, what I had at a certain time, maybe because I was not thinking of the right subject and just to make a time pass, I went into that phase. I would call them time pass films without really having an objective. Why I wanted to make this film? Why should I do it?
This time, people say is a great time for Ram Gopal Varma because there's OTT which is out there. OTT is experimenting like mad with edgy content, with content out of the box. It's your time. Why are you not playing with OTT?
See, I'm doing all that now. I think in the next 2 2-3 months, you'll be hearing a lot. You see, for me, I am making one film now, which I believe. See, one film already half finished is with Manoj Bajpayee and Rangeela. It's a horror. It's not a horror comedy, but it's got a lot of humor in it. It's called Police Station Mein Booth. So it is about an encounter cop. He kills a dreaded gangster, and the gangster comes back as a ghost. And he starts haunting the police station where this guy operates from. And then I have this one film which I'm going to start maybe in the next after I finish this film. That I believe will be my biggest film.
Which is that?
It's called Syndicate. I'm just telling you in just what is a film about. See, in the 60s, there were these street gangs, 60s and 70s, they all got absorbed into hardline political parties, so though they got lost. Then the smugglers came in the 80s and things like that. Now with Manmohan Singh's reforms, they left. Then the corporate gangs came, like T Company, Rajan Company and all that. Around 2010 or so, even they disappeared. Likewise, in terrorism, there was ISIS. So there was Black September, then there was Al-Qaeda, then there was ISIS, then there's Hamas. So all of them keep coming back in a different form. And for the fact in the last 10 years, you don't have a criminal organization in India. So Syndicate is my imagination of what could be the next organization which will come like that. But it's not set in sci-fi. It can happen tomorrow. It can happen next week. What I'm envisioning, So it's like on September 11th, the attack happened in America. September 10th also people didn't know about Al-Qaeda. Yeah. So something like that I'm making. The basic theme is what if the entire law and order in India collapses in one single day? That is the basic theme of the film. Yeah.
And that is going to be your biggest, you're saying?
Yeah. Because it's not just a film for me. It is a sum total of what I gathered in my research about the crime world and the terrorism, and all of them come into this one umbrella of a film called Syndicate. So that for me, I think is I want to use that one film to wash away all my sins of the last 10 years or so. Yeah.
You think about the sins of your last 10 years?
Yeah. See, I wouldn't say repent them. I wouldn't say regret them, but I like I said, the decision of what Ayn Rand said, to have an objective in life, I could have taken that decision 10 years later back also. I could have taken that 20 years back also, even after my first film. The fact I didn't do it is my only regret. It's not the films.
Sir, tell me very honestly,
Yeah.
when you're alone and you see these new age directors doing a lot of work like
Yeah.
you do, which is cutting edge films, using the kind of lighting you do, background score that you do you have FOMO, which is fear of missing out?
No. Because to start with, see, I am not interested in what films became hits. I am interested in films which will startle me, which will, oh fuck, it's fantastic. Like I was shocked with Animal, for example, and I liked Kantara very much. I liked Kerala Story, So I am interested in films which I feel I couldn't have done that. And I admire the guy who's done it. There could be some of them which didn't work also. Because I look at the craft much more than the totality of the film. I don't see the film to be entertained. I see a film to study it. Yeah.
Which are the new age directors that you really like?
Sandeep Vanga definitely
I love
is
that
on
guy
top
too.
form.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I would say he's the number one guy. I'd like to believe, because for me, it is not just about the tremendous success. Many films might have become very successful. But the newness of his characters and in the way he will believe in the shocking people, and on an idea level, I think an Animal can never be made in Hindi industry. I don't think no corporate would have backed a subject like that. That can happen only from the South, a director from the South, So I would say I might have enjoyed the spectacle of KGF too, but I was not blown away like the way I was blown with Animal. Yeah.
How do you think the Hindi film industry is handling the influx of South films doing magically at the box office in the Hindi film territories as well?
Yeah. See, the problem primarily there, I'll tell you, is see, if you look at the whole history, Most of South films are South heroes. Rajinikanth, Chiranjeevi, N.T. Ramarao, all of them were copying Amitabh Bachchan's films of the 70s. They became stars because of that. And they kept on going in the same direction. Whereas in the 90s or mid 90s, when the musicals came like Maine Pyar Kiyas and Hum Aapke Kauns and Ashiki and all that, the music companies were ruling the roost and they wanted to use the films as vehicles to sell music.
Music, yeah.
That is when the masala film, hero film as a genre kind of reduced a lot, almost became invisible for quite a long time, which time with Amitabh Bachchan taking a big holiday for 3-4 years or some time, you know. So then the heroes' films went down. But the South never stopped making films and they kept on developing only in the same direction, which is the reason the stars became so huge compared to Hindi heroes. So a Gajni came, it was a big hit, but they thought it was a flash in the pan, that genre will not come back so easily, you know. Then, of course, Wanted. I think the first time they got shaken, see, Bahubali is still a spectacle. It is a visual spectacle. KGF, I think, is what which shook up there because I don't think 90% of Bollywood didn't like the film, you know. But the tremendous success of KGF 2 has shaken them up because suddenly they realize they don't know the audience. See, a filmmaker needs to believe he knows the audience. And if a film you can't connect to becomes such a big blockbuster, obviously you think there is a divide between you and the audience. Then every once in a while something comes, Animal comes. In fact, when Animal came, I was telling someone, I said every corporate house, every production house in Bombay, I gave an example. If you go to someone's house, you know, and they have this huge dog, a Great Dane or something like that, you know, and when you're sitting and the Great Dane keeps roaming around, it stares at you for some time, and then it brushes, as you're walking, it brushes his body against you, you're inside scared. And they will be saying, no, nothing will happen, it's a very gentle dog, but you can't be sure, you know. So that, and you try to ignore it and you're talking, but at the back of your mind, that presence of that dog, the big dog is there. So I said in every production house of Bombay, Animal will be like that dog. Whatever they're discussing, their minds will keep on going back to the collections of Animal. You know what I'm saying? Like a very big director told me at a point, you know, when he saw KGF 2 on ODT, he said, Ramu, I saw it for 15 minutes. I couldn't take the film and I stopped it and I went into the balcony, I took a deep breath for some time and I braced myself and I saw the next 15 minutes. Then I again paused it and I went to take a bath and I came back. I was willing myself to finish the film. By interval, I gave up. I don't care why the fuck this film worked. I will make my own film, I said. Then 3 days later, the same guy, he was sitting with a writer, you know. And the writer was telling something. I said, that's so illogical. How can that happen? And the writer said, I said, that's how, why KGF 2 worked because of that. You know, now you're fucked. Because, see, there's an old Hollywood line, you can argue about the content, but you can't argue with success. Because you're making your film for the same audience. And if they're watching Animal or KGF 2 or something like that, you know, so this divide is not because of South and North. It is suddenly Bollywood feeling they don't know the audience. This would have never happened. You know, see, what they think is bad, what they think a hero like Ranbir Kapoor in Animal can never be accepted in mainstream cinema. So the audience have betrayed Bollywood. It is not Bollywood betrayed. You know, it's audience who stabbed Bollywood in its back by embracing films like that.
The hero of the film does everything which you don't
Which he was
expect.
not supposed to do, yeah. Which a hero is not supposed to do. Yeah.
Anurag had said Ram Gopal Varma had 5 films at a time. He's making 2 and given 3 to others, and he takes a check in between. He would never want to do a mistake like this.
I would disagree with that because I think, see, the point is what hat you're wearing and what your capacity. to make those many number of films is different. But I know because I am at the center, it was my mistake. It's not about making those films. My mind was not concentrating and focusing on what to get. If you do that, you can make 10 films and also get them to
Did
whatever.
you take
Yeah.
too much at
No,
that time?
no, I didn't.
But don't you think the statement makes
I
sense?
believe my mind state is the only reason. If I was serious about the product coming out, I would have done that.
Because I
think
remember
it's
you were
my-
giving films to all your other directors. Were you involved
I
in
mean,
those?
I mean, I was involved. Partly, it's not that I'm not involved, but I would say it is not about me being involved or not. It is because, like I said, now I just not talked about. I didn't concentrate on making the film as best as I can. It is that whether it's arrogance or whether it is I removed myself to be too. See, people can make a film with so much of passion. They also can flop. I don't mean that is going to ensure that. But I think least I would have achieved, I would have, had a certain pride in those films, which I don't have, which I don't. Yeah.
In fact, you had tweeted a director standing by his film rejected by the audience is like telling a girl, I love myself and I don't
Correct.
care if you don't love me. He replied by saying, Sir, I love you too much. Now put that vodka aside and sleep. Lots of kisses.
Anurag says that?
He replied on your tweet.
Okay. Just, okay. Yeah. So, see, the first tweet I put, in the context of that was when a director was saying, when the film flopped, he was telling me that I love my film. I stand by my baby, he said. I said, a film is a decision taken, a series of decisions taken by a director. If I tell you a joke and if you don't laugh, I can't say I love the joke. Because my intention of telling you a joke is to laugh, for you to laugh. Then you failed already. So standing by the film doesn't make... So I think when he said that, put that vodka aside, Anurag Kashyap also must be having a vodka.
Both of you are doing cheers from
Yeah.
How was it working with him in those days? When he was
See, I'm very
assisting?
fond of him even now. See, the point is, whatever interviews I gave on Satya also, I specifically told where his contribution came from and all that. Even now, I enjoy, he's one of the very few people in the industry I enjoy talking to.
Would you ever collaborate with him soon?
I don't think so. The reason for that is, I think, see, at the time we met his age and he was not a director, and over years you will develop strong views and all that. So I think fundamentally I don't believe our sensibilities match. At that time, because he was just a unknown writer, he wouldn't have much of a choice except to go by what I tell. Today he's already a proven director. He's made so many films which are highly acclaimed. So I don't think a collaboration can happen like that. Yeah.
A lot of directors have openly said they have learned from you. Anurag Kashyap, Puri Jagannath, Krishna Vamsi, Teja, Shiva Nageshwara Rao, Gunashekhar, and even S.S. Rajamouli. Who do you think carries your vision the best?
I don't believe any of them. Any of them too. I don't think, first of all, I don't think anybody should carry anyone's vision. As a director, like I said, it is own individuality. It is possible. See, everyone learns from somebody, because I've started from long before them. And I could be learning from Steven Spielberg or a Francis Coppola or a John Frankenheimer or whatever. So I think likewise, everybody learns from someone who's been there much before them. But eventually what they make, I think, will be their own. Like even Sandeep Vanga says that he learned from me in interviews. But I don't think there's a single thing in Sandeep Vanga which has a real kind of a similarity to my kind of characters or my kind of films. Yeah.
बहुत सारे fans and haters सब कहते हैं, we want our Ramu back.
I don't know their Ramu will be back, but 100% my Ramu will be back with Syndicate. That much I'll promise you. I don't know whatever that means.
What side of you am I going to see that surprises yourself?
I think you will see that side of me which either I consciously didn't realize or whatever. I think from now on, every film of mine, including Police Station Mein Booth, will have the Ayn Randian effect, where I am trying to set a benchmark, at least on an intention. If not, I achieve in the result. That only time and audience can tell. So that Ramu is going to be back. Yeah. I don't know what the audience Ramu is. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to tell you that a lot of time I see certain projects on OTT, and believe you me, I'm saying, my God, Ram Gopal Varma did this 20 years back. And somewhere, at the risk of sounding a little emotional, I felt hurt by you for not making the cinema that you should have been making.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that, and really hurt. For me, you're a genius. You're a maverick. You may be whatever people may have, pros, cons, but you're a genius. And I want to see that genius work back. I'm saying this as a fan because the current generation that's seen the past needs to see what magic can even create now. And you've got to do it for us, man.
Yeah. I won't do it for you, I do it for me. Let me put it that way. So I don't owe anything to the audience, but I owe a lot to me. Me for what my capacity is, and me for what knowledge I have. So I think, yeah, I would say that, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fabulous. We talk on the phone now and then. Sir sends me certain clips and gives me a feedback on those. So I appreciate that. And I've been looking forward to this so much because what is in your head is unbelievable. Ram Gopal Varma, thank you so much.
Thank you.